Cortana, play classical music.
All right, queuing up a station for classical music on iHeartRadio.
Thank you. Good morning. Please join me for tea. Well, you look a little too low there. Let me help you with that. There. Ah, much better. Let me pour you some tea. Now, this tea is made in the English breakfast tea style, so definitely Twinings, Her Majesty's tea. And how do I enjoy tea? Some cream and sugar. 1 lump or 2? I'll go for 1 in here, that's probably appropriate. And when I say cream, I'm really just using some milk. Whole milk is probably most appropriate, but we can go for anything. And there you go. Some delicious breakfast tea. I don't think you'll mind. Oh yes. Well, hello world, what is up? Jem here, and today we are talking about tea. Yes, I am a tea drinker, not so much a coffee drinker. I've tried a little bit of coffee in my time, but it's just not for me. So I'm going to get into some awesome teas today, some different styles from the bag tea, which we can make in a pot like this with some milk and sugar. I'll go into some chais, and I also used to go to Teavana a lot. And where do we go now that Starbucks has closed Teavana? I'm about to show you. Let's get to it. Welcome back. So I actually grew up with English breakfast tea. Growing up, my Nana and my great-grandmother were English, and they had a plethora of English traditions, including running an English tea room, and we got to enjoy so many things like sausage rolls and scones with clotted cream and jam. It was delicious. We did Boxing Day tea every year around New Year's. It's always a great time. But as far as tea goes, I've kept that to this day. I still really enjoy tea. Twinings, when it comes to English breakfast tea, is always the one I go for. But there are so many more teas out there. Now, as we get started, let me bring you over here a little bit with me. So the first step for any good tea is hot water. So I have a hot water boiler back here. I'm going to get that started. It has a blue light on it. You'll probably see a little bit more of it later, but it will go ahead and start boiling the water now. It's electric run, and why don't I give you back your tea? There you go. Please enjoy. But oh my, I'm out of tea here. Well, that seems like perfect timing. Well, this is the Twinings English breakfast tea I was talking to you about. It is available in pretty much any grocery store, so super easy to find. And then I've got some other great options here. Let's see what I can find here. Here we go. So in this one, I have, I've got a pumpkin chai tea. So, but it's loose leaf. So here you can see, I don't know if you can see those, but this is a loose leaf tea. So what do we do about that? How do we make that? Well, you could put it in a pot like our teapot here. You just need one of these kinds of things where it's hollow in the middle. We could put some tea into it and then seal it up and let it go in there. But I'm actually going to use something like this today. These are made in mug forms and all kinds of different ways. This is a glass container with just little basket in the middle. We'll put our tea in there. So here's our loose leaf tea. We've got our pumpkin chai here. Get enough to give a good kick to it. There we go. Now, let's see if I can grab some of these. there are actually, in this one, little pumpkins. So, I love this one. It's so cute in the design and also so amazingly delicious. I'm going to tell you later where you can get your own. But let's go ahead and, there we go, put that together. Now, I'm gonna let this skip ahead a little bit and get to the actual boiled water part so we can have our tea. So, see you in a moment. Okay, this seems just about done here. Once the water is boiled, we'll go ahead and add this in here. Now, I would not suggest adding boiling water to most glass containers. This one is specifically meant for steeping tea, so make sure you are extra careful before using glass for your teas. I'll go ahead and toss that in there. All we have now is to wait a few minutes. While I do that, why don't I talk about more teas? So this one is a chai tea. It's a little bit more of a spicy kind of feel to it. I'm still going to add cream and sugar to it. Why? That's how I love my teas. I think it does such wonders. Try a tea sometime that way if you haven't before. Maybe you've only done herbal teas. Maybe you don't have teas. If that's the case, give it a try. I think you're really going to enjoy it. Where do we get these teas? Now, I used to get all my stuff from Teavana. It was a great place to go, but now I go to David's Tea. Let's see if you can see that. David's Tea. David's Tea? David's Tea? So I go to David's Tea every now and then to restock on my teas. You'll notice I have a few of these tins, and they're just a good way to store loose leaf tea and keep it good for a longer amount of time. These will keep them good for at least a year, which I'll definitely go through what I purchase in that time. But I am going to take you out to David's Tea with me. We'll go check out the store and get a feel for it. This is the one here in Columbus at the Easton store. We have a few. We have one in Polaris as well. Yeah, while this steeps, let me take you out there. We'll show you the place and then come back and we'll enjoy our pumpkin chai. Alright, here I am at David's Tea. If you're like me and you used to love Teavana, but you need something new for your tea options, check this place out. Let's go in. Welcome back to my home, friend. And now, no, I did not go to David's Tea in my robe. And in fact, this is actually my wife's robe. I bought it for her. It's very luxurious. And I thought it would do great for this breakfast tea. This is now ready to go. So we'll go ahead. It has not been steeping for the entire trip. There's some kind of video magic. This has only been steeping a few minutes. And so I'll go ahead and take out the basket inside. Remember, this is the pumpkin chai. There we go. Why did I even save that? And now with this one, I'm going to use a little more, maybe 1.5 teaspoons of sugar, and still some cream or milk. I don't want too much, just enough to give it a little more of that creamy taste to it. Let's give that a try. This one is actually one of my favorite teas. This one's so great, this one is especially great in the winter when you're looking for something with a little more oomph than a classic breakfast tea. Something that's got a little bit of spice to it, but it's still just going to warm you up inside. Think Halloween, Christmas season. It's wonderful for all of that time. But another thing that you can use is, you notice I've been using granulated sugar, but in my more herbal teas or lemon teas or even a rooibos tea, I like to use a little bit of rock sugar. So I like to use some of this rock sugar. And the rock sugar is slower to dissolve, and I really don't know if it makes that much of a difference from granulated sugar, but it's fun to use and it's enjoyable, and somehow I think it keeps me from using too much sugar, and so that's always a plus. So anyway, thank you for joining me today and having some tea with me, checking out David's Tea. If you're looking for some tea, this is a great place to start. Wait, don't go! Now I forgot, why do I have all of these tins and the stuff to bring tea around? Why not just use a teapot all the time with one of these little baskets? Well, that's because I keep this stuff at work. I actually have a coworker who you'll see around the comments of a lot of these videos that we do tea at least a few times a week. It's always a great time to just kind of take a 10-minute break from work, steep up some tea, sip it, and just talk and hang out a little bit. You can talk about work at the same time or just relax. It's always a great break from the workday. So these things are perfect for bringing into the office. The David's Tea ones, if you buy, I think it's 4 ounces of tea at a time when you go in, they'll often give you a free tin. So check for promotions. But, oh, thank you. I almost forgot to tell you about that. But it's one of the things that I love about tea is that you can make it away so easily. You just need a way to boil some water, really. And the rest, it looks complicated, but that's just because I've got like 4 different ways to make tea here and like 6 different teas on the table. So it's not that bad. And is always totally relaxing. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please hit that like button, subscribe to see more of my stuff, and you can watch another one of my videos over here, and I'll see you next time.